Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to another edition of Spruikers. We are in the coldest place in the world today. We're at the Docklands in Melbourne, and it must be about -5 outside, so we're going to warm you up with a few winners. Good afternoon, Jake.
Good afternoon, Tags. Warm us up with a few winners. That is wonderful. Good early start by you.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can try and find one. Brisbane versus Carlton at the Gabba. Brisbane good winners over the Bulldogs last week. They're $1.48 to do the same over Carlton, who are $3.05. Jake, can you see an upset?
No, I can't. Brisbane accounted for Carlton very easily earlier in the season and, of course, defeated the Dogs, who were quite a good side last week. So all signs point to a Brisbane victory, Tags.
Everyone says that Brisbane's goals only really come from two places, or Brown and Bradshaw. Carlton's probably only come from one.
One, yeah. So I suppose Brisbane have the advantage with that in mind.
2v1. Mm-hmm. Collingwood versus Sydney. Collingwood $1.79 versus Sydney $2.24 in at the Docklands. Hopefully they'll have the roof on because it'll probably snow on Saturday night, which is probably bad news.
An ice skating rink.
Yeah. I'm not sure either of the two teams really play Telstra Dome too well. No,
Collingwood beat St Kilda at the MCG 2 weeks ago, which is not far away from Telstra Dome.
Geographically.
Yeah, therefore, you'd have to say probably Collingwood. But no, seriously, Collingwood have a magnificent record over the Swans. They've won 5 on the bounce, I think, against the Sydney siders.
Including a final.
Yeah, that's correct, convincingly last year. So at $1.79, that's probably a price that layers might regret offering, I suggest, Tags. I reckon it's a very backable price.
I think it's a good price too. $1.79 Collingwood, Sydney $2.24. The other game that could potentially affect the 8, or will affect the 8, is St Kilda and Adelaide. St Kilda $1.92, Adelaide $2.04. Adelaide, for me, look a bit of value here.
Yeah, they do. It's one of those games. A few weeks ago, you wouldn't want to have backed either of these sides, but they've hit their straps and won a couple on the trot. Poor old Steve Milne had to drive home from Perth. I feel particularly for the club doctor who had to sit in the car for 3,500 k's with Milne.
He would have been trying to just jag one from the boundary.
I know, you'd be just tempted to veer, wouldn't you? But apparently he had to drop him off in Adelaide and say, catch the train home, I'm done with you.
He might well be wearing blue, yellow and red on the weekend, Milne.
It may be.
For Adelaide. I don't know. Stop off at the City of Churches and
get a game. That went over my head, that one.
It's gone over probably everyone else's as well. Brownlow. Gary Ablett shortened during the week after his performance on Saturday night against the Swans. Backed into $2.58, about $3.20 he was last week, I think, Jake. Harvey $3.90, Bartel $6.40, Cooney $17.50, and the Richo man $29 after his best on ground performance against the Hawks.
Yeah, if punters have it right, and Betfair punters so often do, as we know, Tags, the winner will come from those 3 primary ones that you mentioned. Ablett, we know he's going to be in front for a long way, and another good game. If he chips away at the last couple here, picks up a couple of votes, then you'd really have to fancy him, and $2.58 is a better price than, it's probably $1 better than what you were getting 8 weeks ago. Yeah,
perhaps. Fast fingers on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, the Cats playing North Melbourne down at Kardinia Park. Head-to-head, Ablett versus Harvey. It might be interesting to see who gets the 3 votes down there.
It certainly will be, and Ling, you'd imagine, will take Harvey's, and as you found out this week, with a meeting with one of the Geelong luminaries, Tags, Lingy doesn't get beaten.
He doesn't get beaten too often, but I don't think they'll play him on him this week. I think they're going to hold something up their sleeve for the first week of the finals.
Do they need
to? Maybe. They did it
Geelong
last year.
Geelong are a 40-goal better side than North.
And that is reflected in the premiership odds. They are $1.58, Geelong. They've tightened again during the week. Hawthorn $5.50, Western Bulldogs $15, and North Melbourne still $23, even though they've beaten the Bulldogs twice and beaten Hawthorn this year. Do the punters have that one wrong?
Pussycats.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
No, irrelevant.
All right. NRL, Sharks versus Roosters. Sharks $1.87 versus the Roosters $2.02. Jakob, any comment?
Yeah, Roosters for me. They've won 7 of 9 at Shark Park in the last decade. $2.02, great value there.
Tigers versus Manly, $2.78. The Tigers, Manly $1.45. Manly going okay still?
They've lost 3 out of 4, so not especially well, but the Tigers lost to the Eels last week, which is terrible.
Bad enough.
Yeah, so Manly.
Okay, Souths versus the Raiders. The Raiders $1.56, Souths at home $2.70.
Raiders flying. They're looking for 5,000 members in 2009. Go, you good things.
Are you going to get on?
No.
It's colder than the Docklands in Canberra.
It's an awful place, Canberra.
Good afternoon to all of our Canberra viewers.
Yeah.
The premiership market, the Storm still had it. Odds on there, $1.99, Manly $6.80, Roosters $10, and the Broncos $10.50. Round off the market, we go to Durban for the Tri Nations.
We do at the highest level.
Do you want to make it? Yeah, they're going to be playing at the highest level. way above sea level.
That's right.
in Durban, which could pose a problems for the Aussies who have been pretty bad on the water.
Yeah, well,
it might favour them.
It could
the
do.
Olympics,
They haven't won at altitude, the Wallabies, for some decades, so you couldn't really fancy them here. And punters don't. $3.10 about the Aussies and $1.50 odd about South Africa. Pretty good value, South Africa. They'll win. I think you can probably hope for a tight game and back South Africa under 12.5 points at about the $3 mark. So that would be my advice there, Tags.
I think that's pretty good advice too. $1.52 South Africa, $3.10 for the Aussies. In the winners market, New Zealand have shortened to $1.55, Australia to $3.50, and South Africa blown out to $14. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next week.